start the recording now. So,
Oh, actually, I need to. Oh, wait, where's my recording? Oh, I can start mine too.
yes, you can.
All right, so Rosebud, welcome to the Lifewriting podcast. We're married authors and screen. Let me do it again because my recording started late. Sorry,
All right.
Rose. Rosebud, welcome to the Lifewriting podcast. We're married authors and screenwriters Stephen Barnes.
And Tananarive do talk about writing during stressful times, breaking into Hollywood, and balancing life.
Every episode will share more tips on how to build a better life while you create your dream projects.
Even if it's only at the rate of one sentence a day. Life writing is the application of the tools of writing to life and the tools of life to your writing.
Heyo! Okay, a little bit of a delay. There you go. That's more like it. Bring the love, bring the love, bring the love. Yes. Hey, everybody.
Mm. So I was just inviting everyone to an ice cream social.
I see that.
Now, having ice cream for breakfast. The I still have to work with the texture because there's still too many ice crystals in it. It's really interesting how a lot of simple pleasures in life are based upon getting a lot of different things just right. Just lining things up so that everything is working is as much a chemistry experiment as anything else.
And
You
if
know,
there's one factor that's not in place, it can send you, like if you're off the map by 1 degree, you don't end up at your destination.
right. So this is, and here's the thing, and I think it's critical for us to understand if we're trying to build lives of meaning, and that is that you're going to get off track. You will absolutely 100%, no doubt, no question, get over it, get off track. So what you have to do is check as often as possible. That requires a couple different things. One, that you know where you're going, short and long term. You have maps for that, magic formula. And then you take frequent action so that if you find out you're off track, it's not a matter of I'm off track by years or decades, but I'm off track by a day or two. Okay, that's a much smaller piece to make a correction on. It's like you don't want to you want to be looking at the book that you're working on if you're working on a book chapter by chapter. Now Tananarive is better at this in the sense that she polishes every page until it's right for her before she goes on to the next page. Usually, I
Usually.
I do that by testing it as a script first. And if I have to throw away an entire script, I don't care. It only took me a few weeks to write that version of it. But usually I don't have to do more than throw away chunks. I recently had to throw away more than half
You sure
of.
did. You started almost from scratch.
That's right, very much from scratch. I still, there's an opening scene that where these kids are doing something, and that scene works. And there's some other things, but during my experience in the hospital, I decided that I had not been writing as honestly as I could and that I needed to make a real change. And then I asked myself, well, what would I have done? And then I said, well, that's dangerous. I've never done anything like that before. How can I know that I can do that successfully? And then it was like, do I need to figure out right now what the final product is going to be? Is that a productive way of looking at this? No, it's not a productive way. I need to be able to experiment. I need to be able to try different things. And you set your life up so that if plans go well, I mean, once again, plans are always interrupted. If plans go well, you are creating a safety net that enables you to have the room to make a mistake. Now, that's going to be true in your physicality, that you want to train your body for those moments at which you exceed the normal limits. You need more strength, endurance, flexibility, balance, or whatever than average. You fall on an icy sidewalk. Have you prepared yourself for that? How have you prepared yourself for that? Premeditatio malorum is the Stoic philosophy. If I lived in an area where falling was a common thing in life, I'd make sure I could fall safely. If I needed to, I would actually go to somebody, Aikido or Judo, or whatever, and say, teach me to fall. So that when this inevitable thing happens, I don't break my hip and die of pneumonia. With my emotions, if you know that in any relationship you're going to exceed the bounds of what you're comfortable with from time to time, and so you have to be able to survive that discomfort, which might be an argument, a misunderstanding, whatever, without destroying the relationship. That you therefore want to create as much safety net as possible. A matter of we trust each other, we believe in each other, we know that we have the best intentions. So there's been a misunderstanding here. Let's work it out. Uh, and in
So
terms of your career, go ahead, T. Let me shut up. You got something to say? Go
I
for it.
was just going to ask if we want to go to the podcast format and talk about what's going on.
Sure.
Well, let's talk about what's going on.
Oh, yes! Yes!
Woo! Oh, I forgot. I have to turn that off. I've never gone that far in the music. It was just getting good too. So
You tell me.
anywho, um, I've spoken many, many, many times about how losing a month of work basically during what we call the late unpleasantness, which was a freak occurrence where Steve ended up in the hospital for a month, doing so great now. It's almost like a dream that that even happened, although I can still feel
Did
the
it really
echoes.
happen?
I did
Yeah.
it? Maybe I'm the one in the hospital. I don't, it's just like, it just doesn't seem real.
That's right.
Honestly, it
Wake
doesn't.
up, T. Wake up. You're
It
having a
doesn't
bad
seem
dream.
real. But I had, of course, programmed a series of deadlines during that time, including a novella, a long short story, a short story, I mean, two essays, and everything was delayed. So I am really excited to report that on top of all that stuff, I've met my deadlines. I just have one short essay that I'm writing for a Peter Straub collection in memoriam, for Peter Straub. One essay left that's due Monday. But other than that, I turned in the novella. I turned in all of the short stories. I even did copy edits on my novel that I was not expecting to do during this time, and it's all turned in. Yes, I did it.
You're a beast.
And I did it. And I'm just going to tell you, I did it by not panicking, by being realistic about asking for extensions. Honestly, I mean, apologies to my editor on this kaiju anthology that I just turned in a story for, but I was literally going to ask to drop out of that. And then I got the cover design and my name was on the cover. And I was like, oh, I guess. I guess I mean I did run it. I did run it past another editor and he said that the publisher was like, ah. So yeah, I ended up keeping all. I did end up dropping out of one project that I had tacked on later, but other than that, I managed it by just not panicking, by looking right at it. Sometimes when there's a mound of work to do, at least in my past, I used to procrastinate and put my head under the sand and just not want to deal with it. But I took the opposite approach this time. I was like, okay, how long is it going to take me? If it takes me 2 weeks to do this story, and I'll have a little overlap, and I can spend the next 2 weeks on this story. And I really did map it out. I had a page quota for the novella. That got hardcore because that was longer. And I even realized my outline wasn't long enough to fit the amount of work I had said I was turning in. So I had to really pump it up a little bit. So I had a page quota for the novella, but everything else has just been keeping my eye on the schedule, doing the work, and remembering my joy. I agreed to write these stories. And the last thing I'll say about the kaiju story, we talked about this last time, is, I've never read a kaiju story. Okay, so it's kind of hard to write something when you've never read it. I mean, yeah, I've seen the Godzilla movies since I was a kid and the newer ones and all that, but how do you believe in a kaiju creature, I was sort of struggling with that. And I did something really smart that I think I mentioned last time we met, but I just want to say it again, is that I went back to sort of my trunk stories, my childhood. I went all the way back to childhood and remembered a story I wrote called Chris Manning and His Talking Cat when I was 9 years old. And even though I don't know where the story is and I don't have it as a reference, I remembered the title and I remembered the name of the cat, Midnight. And I did that to create a character I could believe in, okay? Because before I could believe in a giant cat, I had to believe in the cat. See what I'm saying? Like I couldn't just jump to giant cat. I need, take me out to dinner first. I need to know you a little bit. So that really worked gangbusters. And, I'll be the first one to admit that the cat doesn't grow until fairly late in the story. But I wrote it the way I had to write it. Let's start with talking. Let's start with peeling back reality into the fantasy realm, creating a character, and do have some purpose to the cat becoming big. And I'm just going to leave it at that because I know we have something we're excited to talk about. And I have a surprise for you, Steve, but I'm going to unveil it later.
Okay, that's fine. Um, in terms of talking about what's going on, I wanted to briefly touch on the very biggest thing, which some of you know that you've been listening to this, that when I was coming out of a coma and Tananarive was trying to do the thing of getting me to remember positive things, and what I had to live for and who loved me and so forth and so on. So she asked, what was the question that you asked me, hon?
I said, honey, because he was literally practicing speech. He had not been speaking, he'd been intubated. So I was like, honey, do you want to say the names of people who care about you and have been really worried about you? And he shook his head, no. And then he leaned over and he whispered, you tell
Keeper.
her. Keep her.
And then I said, feature.
And that was so significant. I'll just interrupt for 1 second to say that's when I knew you were really there, right?
Yeah.
Like you were really there. There were a couple moments like that.
So the question I was asked by God or the universe or my unconscious mind or whatever was, why do I want to live? And I was asked it very directly. And I think that that's the most important question that we can have, because that really comes to, why do you want to get out of bed in the morning? Why do you want to work? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do that? If your whys are big enough, you'll figure out the how. If your what is specific, you know what your what is, and your whys are empowering, you'll figure it out. So there were three different things that I had to look at, as I was coming out of it, trying to figure out, where am I and what's going on, and oh my God, the amount of work that it's going to take me to get back. But I had physical goals of vibrancy and sexuality and being able to practice the martial arts and so forth. And there were emotional goals of being a good father and a big good husband and the students I wanted to help and be here for you guys. And then there were mental things. There were ambitions that I have, goals, business things, money, and art. And so when I said keeper, well, that was one of the first things that came out of my mouth. It was in alignment with, magic, childhood goals, deathbed. I found out on my deathbed that my childhood goals were still empowering, because my last remaining life goal, begun in childhood, is a theatrical motion picture. So what happened this week, I don't want to go too much into it because it's delicate. But when you look at your chances of accomplishing something, you usually start out with not much objective evidence that you can do it unless you've already done it. If you've already done it, then you can kind of say, oh, I've done it before, I'll do it again. If you can find other people who have done it, starting with your resources, that certainly increases your certainty. It says, okay, that lets me know that I can take a day and I can work on this today in a couple days, and I can look and see what my results are doing. But there's a tipping point. If you start with, at a 10% chance, and then you start taking steps. And because you take steps, you're evaluating reality. It's like Edison trying different filaments to try to make a light bulb. Try this, try this, try this, try this, and you keep the belief it's possible. It's possible to do this. I just don't know how to do it. It's possible to do it. There's always an answer, but I may not be smart enough to find it. I may not have the time to find it. This week, something happened that now makes it more likely than not that we get to do this movie. It's not 100%, it's not close to 100%, but it's more than 50%
Yeah.
because of something specifically that happened. And
Can I talk about the film festival strategy meeting? Because that was huge.
absolutely, we can also talk about the fact that last weekend, the reason we did not do a Life Writing Live last weekend was that we were at Mysticon in Roanoke, Virginia, and no, we did not disappear.
Great
Uh,
con. Great
Great
con.
con, great people,
Great
and we
people.
showed to friends, had a little friends and family screening there that was very sparsely attended. But then the last night they set up a second screening and told the right people about it. And we had a much bigger group. And not only that,
Yes.
but they were exactly the kind of group we wanted. So I was like not watching the screen, I'm watching them react. And they're reacting at the right times. A couple of them even giggled at the rather nasty. We have a couple pieces of rather nasty humor in there. And people, I think in most screenings, were kind of like, should I laugh? Is it okay for me to laugh? These people got the joke and they were giggling. So I said, this is my tribe. These are the
And some
people who could do this,
and
who
some
could make this successful.
gasping.
Gasping. That's right. Now you go, sweetheart.
No, I'm sorry. I was just throwing in gasping.
No, no, no.
You.
You said that we're talking about the film festival
Oh,
strategy meeting.
sure, sure, sure. So yeah, this was well, we've officially begun submitting The Keeper to film festivals for 2026. We have the 100% support of our executive at Blackmailed, and she's very smart. So we are coming up with a strategy. We are going to be submitting to significant festivals that are all kinds, horror, black festivals, mainstream festivals. We're just submitting, submitting, submitting. And I want to share a surprise with you, Steve, that I don't think you've ever seen before. And I'll have to explain to the listeners what it is what it is that I'll be sharing. But let me pull it up on my screen. If hold on, it's not on just by me. Hold on, let me get it up. Oh, it is up on my screen. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to share something that you've never seen before. We are on IMDb, baby. This has been up since August and we didn't know. But the one addition is that our temporary poster art, I added that yesterday because they just had a picture of the graphic novel, and that's not actually appropriate
Can
because,
you can you enlarge, embiggen the poster art?
oh, sure, yeah. Let me get rid of this. So this is the poster art. It's really literally the first frame of the action in the movie when Grandma and Aisha are standing in front of the house that is about to become her new home. And it's sort of trepidation. J. Michael Hayes, who is often on these calls with us, was our graphic designer. So he designed the titles to look like refrigerator magnets. Once you see the movie, you'll know why. And he also darkened the sky. It was a bright blue, beautiful sky, Steve. And it was not appropriate for a horror a horror poster. So he darkened that sky for us. But we also have another poster concept. This is just temporary. But look here, we have an IMDb page, and look what it says, who the directors are. Stephen Barnes, Tanana Reevdu, writers Stephen Barnes, Tanana Reevdu. It's an incomplete cast list, and they misspelled Jolie's name. So I've already complained about that. We're going to get that fixed. But we have a lot more names to fill in. But this is the start. The Keeper is in the world. It's on IMDb. Watch this space because you are going to be hearing a lot about this little movie that could in the months to come.
Because if you're a writer, this film required writing. So we can talk about the process of writing it as a specific example. If you're interested in making a movie, we can talk about the process of making your own movie. because we have come into contact with people who make movies. We can talk to you about how to make a movie for literally nothing, or for a few $100s, or for a few $1,000s. And what you have to do is we did every step of this. We created Tananarive created a movie that, first I created television stuff that other people paid for. Then Tananarive actually was the first one to make a small movie just using her iPhone called Lost, was it?
Yes, I just showed it
Yeah.
to my UCLA students yesterday.
Then we raised money to make, or actually,
Danger
we
Word was
raised,
first.
yeah, the Danger Word was first. We raised the money through social media to make a movie, and we raised about $30,000, and we made it.
And let me
Then
just
we,
say, just for
go ahead.
reference for the audience, it's called Danger Word. It stars Frankie Faison and Saoirse Scott, and you can watch it free online at YouTube, www.dangerwordfilm.com.
So, if you're talking about writing, directing, selling it to Hollywood, whatever, we can help you with these things. We can talk about these things. But if all you're talking about is how do you create and successfully execute a lifetime dream when it seems completely out of reach, we can talk about that too, because you'll be able to see that the long-term goal is feature motion picture. We simply defined what the intermediate goals were, and then one goal at a time executed them, learning as we went. We do not know what we need to know to make a feature motion picture unless you say that what you really need to know is how do you learn? How do you break
Yes.
something down? That what we're on a schedule right now, since we hit that 51% point. I could feel it. Last night my mind was buzzing. It took me about 3 hours to get to sleep. I need to start breaking down more clearly. I mean, I've been doing this for months. More clearly, what are the steps necessary to be able to walk into the offices in Hollywood and ask very serious, unsympathetic people for $5 million?
Hmm.
See, this is, who do I need to be? What do we need to be? How does this work to be able to break all that down? And then if it all works out, it'll just be, people are seeing it on the screen. They won't have any idea of the 1,000 steps that we took. Right now I'm thinking, okay, I need the energy that we spent for 4 days on that set. We need to be able to do for 20 to 25 days in order to make a theatrical film. What does my energy level need to be? What do I need to be able to do? These things are the things that I have to think about. I don't even know. Socrates said that if he was the wisest man in Athens, it's because he knew he didn't know anything. That's the position you have to get in, to simultaneously make the assumption that you don't know, but that you can learn. I
Can I
don't know how to do this, but I can learn. Go ahead,
can I just break down really quickly the journey of the keeper,
please.
like step by step by step, because I think this might be useful for those of you who are listening and those of you who are present live in our studio, which, by the way, you can always come join us live in our studio if you join our mailing list. Mine is tananarivelist.com or stephenbarneslist.com, and you get your weekly invitation to come hang out with us as we record this live. So, the Keeper began out of frustration in Hollywood. We had been doing a lot of development of adaptations with producers. Some of them got close. We got close at Lifetime, we got close at Searchlight, we got close, we got close, we got close, but nothing had been produced yet. And we had a disappointment when we found out that, well, a director that we had been working with didn't give us an opportunity to try to write a screenplay for one of the adaptations. Let's just put it. And we were just like, no one's going to let us in here. We're going to have to figure out how to get in ourselves. And we realized we needed to start writing more original scripts. I think a lot of people in Hollywood make the mistake of putting all their eggs in that one pitch, and you just do that one pitch all over town for 2 years, and then if it doesn't go, you're left with nothing. And what you really need to do is write multiple projects. Anyone will tell you this. It's very, very true of all writers, but it's especially true in Hollywood. You need multiple projects. So the adaptations seemed like the best foot forward. But as a matter of fact, they weren't. They weren't. It was the original script. Steve wrote a great script called Mississippi Shuffle, which is set in the Old West, post Reconstruction or during Reconstruction. And we wrote The Keeper, which was based on an incident I had with my great grandmother when I was about 8 years old and my fear of mortality. So he wrote the first draft of Mississippi Shuffle. I wrote the first draft of The Keeper. In the meantime, and we worked together, we plotted it together. um, and in the meantime, Fangoria magazine asked me for a short story. So I wrote a story called Caretaker that was sort of set in the world of The Keeper, but from the prologue. So it was establishing IP. It's like the short story, the spec script. Of course, we hoped Hollywood would fall in love with the spec script and they'd be lining up to make it. We had a disappointment with a studio that said no, where we got it was like such a big letdown when this fell apart. But we kept going. We kept going. And as many meetings as we got, like we got meetings with Sam Raimi's company, we got meetings with, I mean, you name it almost. We had meetings with people over 2 years between 2020 and
Yeah,
2022.
Blumhouse.
I mean, we were meeting everywhere and all over town trying to sell The Keeper. But no one bit until Blackmailed Productions, which is Malcolm Lee's company. They did Girls Trip, they did Best Man, and our executive Giselle came up with a great strategy to try. Oh, and by the way, in between all this, we sold it as a graphic novel. So again, that's another door we were hoping would open up for us. Like the graphic novel might be a more direct route. And in some ways, maybe it was. You never really know what's going to hit. So you do all the things. We did it. So it's a short story, it's a spec script, it's a graphic novel. Three different versions of various c- versions of this story. Blackmailed said, hey, there's a short film contest. So now this is a new form.
No,
Short
the
film.
first thing they said was, "Would you be interested in directing it?"
True.
Giselle asked us, "Would we be interested in directing it?" I had never really thought about that, to be honest, but Tananarive had, and I
Yes.
saw that when Giselle said that, Tananarive leaned forward. I leaned back a little bit because like, oh, what? But Tananarive was like, "Oh, that would be fun." And
But yes, an
so there were two
executive.
things. One
Yes.
is if that's what we have to do to get this project going, then we'll do it. The other thing is if that's what Tananarive wants to do, I'll back her play. I try to automatic. That's my automatic set. If she wants to do it, I'll back her play, unless I've got a powerful reason not to. It was a little bit like when I took Nikki to Tanzania. I said, I'll take you there, but you have to promise me if I give you an order, you will obey it immediately. You will not ask me why, because there might be something coming at you, and we don't have time for that. So it has to be motor set. I am motor set to try to bring anything that Tananarive wants to life, unless I have a reason not to.
You know, you
So
know,
her enthusiasm and her confidence inspired me.
Oh, that's great. Well, and I had a little help on the way there because I had made that little short film on my iPhone, which I also edited on my iPhone, after we did Danger Word, sort of just for fun. So, and it was directed by me and starring me, as a matter of fact. If you look up Lost on YouTube and my name, I'm not even going to give a URL, you will find my little silly film. But in my mind, I was already sort of stepping into being a director. And I'd also had an executive at Shutter once say to me, you should direct The Keeper. And I was like, why don't you buy The Keeper? And then we'll talk. But that's not the way it works. That's not the way it works all the time. You can have allies, you can have people cheering you on, but they're not always going to hand you a check. And you have to figure out the way. And that way was through Blackmailed and Giselle and a Japanese company called Samantha. We wrote the short script. We won the contest. We were one of 10 filmmakers to win this contest to get the funding to make our short. And now, just as we had always planned, this is our proof of concept. It is a self-contained story in its own right. It's not a cliffhanger, but it also opens up and can be a feature because we know what happens next. There's a whole script that we'll
Yeah,
polish.
in some ways, the short is the end of the first act.
Yeah, in some
There are
ways.
some ways in which that is true. So what we did was now we can hand this to our agents and our manager and our lawyers and say, look at this. Not only is this proof that we are who we say we are that bitch, but they now have something that they can share with their Rolodex to see who's out there. We don't know. You're casting a net. You don't know what you're going to catch. But if
No.
you don't go fishing, you know, you're never going to catch a fish. What I've noticed is there is direct goal accomplishment, which is nice, but usually those are minor goals. Most of the goals that you're going to have in life, you know, you're going to accomplish some version of them. You won't get that particular thing, but you'll get something even better or something just as good that's a little bit different. It's sort of like, you know, the magic formula where you have a mapper model, a mentor, somebody who has already accomplished what you want. And we've studied filmmakers in talking about how do they make it. We got together with our friends who have done it and asked them questions about, well, how did you do it? How did you do this? And what you want to do is to define the actions. What do I need to do every day? Because that was sort of the theme that I wanted to hit today, is that you can only control what you do today. You can't control what happened yesterday. That's gone.
Hmm.
And tomorrow isn't here yet. And what happens tomorrow is based on what you do today anyway. So what you have to do constantly is to get clear. What can I do today to move myself forward 1%? Because let's say 90 days from now, we could be in the thick of things. That because our agents and our manager have this, because Blackmail Productions wanted to, they don't have, we didn't sign papers with them about the feature. But my attitude is you dance with the one that brung you, that they got us this far. So they're the ones who I'm going to trust to help us get the rest of the way. So rather than thinking, how can we raise the money? How can we do this? It's how can we inspire our team to do this? And then they will put us in different positions and we then have to shine. And in order to do that, we're going to have to change. That because we haven't done this before, it's clear that we are not at this moment the people who can do this. There will be fear, there will be ego, there will be, challenges getting there, and it's going to happen. There are going to be fights, there's going to be problems, because you simply don't move from one level of your life to the next without pain, without death,
Yeah,
without
as a matter of
killing your
fact,
old self.
just to jump in, our manager is saying, I mean, unbeknownst to us, that when you're a first-time director, you don't even get to choose your department heads necessarily. Like we have a team of people we want to bring with us. We have a great cinematographer, Kenzen Takahashi, Michael Yanovich, our editor. We have, we worked with a great team, Carlos Aldana, who did our VFX for a fraction of what it was worth. And our manager's warning us now that, you may not have say over your department heads. And we're like, what? But anyway, we're gonna
Yeah,
fight.
or our actors.
Yeah, oh,
Our
for sure. Yeah.
actors did wonderful jobs for us, but we can't guarantee them work in the feature. We can do everything we can, but it's not necessarily the same roles. We
No.
might need we might need somebody with more of a name for grandma or
Yeah.
the little girl. And so people might say, "Can you work with these people?" Or what if we do this? And what you're looking for is the people who will give you the most of your vision. That I ultimately was willing to turn over a script and let other people do everything. So anything more than that is a win in that sense. So
Exactly.
um, I would kind of like I kind of like to open things up now in case that people have questions, especially if they have questions that relate to the magic formula and setting themselves up in the morning for a day that is one of a string of pearls leading to the treasure that you're looking for. That string is formed one pearl at a time, one perfect day at a time. So the feeling I have at this moment is that between that 5 minute miracle, the 5 minute morning, the magic formula, the warrior walk, which by the way, we're our new website for that should be up by the end of the day today, so we can really start that process. And I'm going to put Tina, would you put into chat what the
URL, yeah.
URL is
And I'll
for
also
that.
say it for our
Yes,
listeners.
warrior-walk.com. It's the first total whole body mind system I've ever created, and I don't see anything like it. And it's so important that I'm willing to give you a copy if you can't afford it. The people who come on this call, I want you guys to shine. I want you to really reach your maximum. So go to warrior-walk.com. If you can't afford it, let us know. We'll get you a copy for free so that we can discuss the implications of this. You know, I brought this back from the edge of death. I mean, I could not, I, I, I can't, I can't say clearly if I'm not kidding you about that. That this was my decision to make the horrible thing that happened to me pay for itself. What can I gain that would be of equivalent value? And what I got from trying to figure out how to uh, do more efficient rehab based upon the lifetime of martial arts and yoga and so forth was something that was transformative. So we want you to all have it. If you can support the business part of this by paying for it, fantastic. But if you cannot, just remember, we will give you a copy. This is not about trying to suck money out of you guys. So
And
what
I just want to
you
point
you
out,
take your last point, and then let's open up to questions.
yeah, I want to say a couple things in terms of the Warrior Walk. I have been singing its praises, when you're postmenopausal or even not postmenopausal, but especially postmenopausal, your doctor will tell you you need that muscle mass. You need to work on that. And now I've always had a workout ethic. I've been working out all my life pretty much, that 3 times a week, whether it was steps or walking or treadmill, kettlebells. I've dancing. I started doing more dance last year, but it's only since I started doing the Warrior Walk that I am seeing that muscle mass increasing, and that is no BS. I'm actually watching it happen, and it's so little time. That's the thing that blows my mind, is that doing
About a
this
half hour a week.
yeah, doing this program is it takes so little time. And when we were traveling in Roanoke, I didn't have my weights with me, but I could go to the gym and get their weights and just walk around. So it's not just for rehab. It's not just for gym bros, but it is the kind of exercise program that is appropriate whether you are struggling to walk, as Steve was right when he came out of the
Couldn't even
hospital,
get out of bed.
right? Or you're a bodybuilder. It just the only thing that's different is how much weight and how long are you walking. Those are the two differences. So,
It really is. So it's the other thing that joined this to life writing was that I listened to the rehab people who they released me from rehab 8 weeks early, talking about how their problem is getting people to do their work at home.
yeah.
That they give them a program and the people won't do it, and then somebody has to force them to go to rehab, and then they report that the progress is very slow, and they're blaming their bodies instead of their habits. So I realized I need to incorporate into this the psychological and emotional tools that make it possible to get yourself to do the thing you need to do. And it was
Yeah.
when I did that that I realized, oh my God, I've got to, this is everything I've been doing with life writing and the magic formula and everything, but it's in a total package for the first time.
It's really I don't want to say my favorite product of yours because Life Writing is also you, but it's my favorite physical product of yours by far. And I love the results. And the last thing I want to say before we open it up to the people who are here with us is the importance of the morning ritual cannot be overstated, right? So yes, I talked about working on my projects, breaking it down, the calendar, all the planning, but to be in the mindset to do that work when the barn is burning all around us is more than a notion. Okay? And this is where we have to say to ourselves, not only do we have the right to create, we have the responsibility to create. What do you think protesters do in their downtime? Right? They're reading. They're watching television. They're trying to get like a little bit of escape. There was a great quote on social media, and I Maybe I'll try to find the person who posted it, but I doubt I'll find it in time. Where someone, a queer elder, had said during the AIDS crisis, in the morning we cry, the funerals, right? In the morning we cry, in the afternoon we protest, in the evenings we dance. So our art is our dance. Too often people forget joy. Joy is what powers movement. If you don't have joy and hope, why are you protesting? You have to have hope and you
Well,
have to
I
have
would
joy.
also look at that, what you just said. In the evening we dance. You have a heart full of hope and love and a mind full of plans, but it's your body that executes in the real world. If you don't engage with your body, it's like not changing the oil on your car when you drive to work every day. Uh, Critical to engage with your body. And the 5 minute morning ritual that we're talking about, where you start with your breathing and give thanks, before you even open up your eyes in the morning, when you wake up, connect to your breathing and give thanks for life. Connect with your
Oh, mute,
heartbeat.
mute someone, Rosebud. Whoop.
Excuse me.
Okay,
Okay.
Rosebud, go on, honey.
Okay. So you connect with your breathing and give thanks for life. You connect with your heart and give thanks for love. And then you connect with your head and give thanks for the future plans. The fact that you are walking towards a destiny that is in alignment with your heart. Then you write down the three things you're going to do today to move your life forward really quick, and you do one sun salutation. The entire morning ritual takes about 5 minutes, and it will transform your day. So we've got some questions now, and Jaime.
Yeah, Jaime, let's go.
Hey, hi, everybody. Thank you so much for that quote from the Queer Elder Tananarive, because that sort of defines my last 3 weeks.
Ah,
I was teasing the group before we actually started today about we're on day 97 of the 100 days of January.
I know that's
In,
right.
in Alaska, we talk about one day in January being worth 3 ordinary days, and
Gotcha.
one day in February being 2 ordinary days. So we're coming up upon the 60 days of February. My last 3 weeks, my life has gotten fairly simple in a good way, but a very challenging way. And it has affected my own program of moving 1% toward my goals every day.
Tell us
Um,
about it.
so, 3 weeks ago, I shared how it's at my top of my priority list to get stories finished and submitted in 2026. I've made some progress on my stories, but not as much as I would have liked to. And it's because of something you both sort of shared, especially Stephen, that he was going to have to be more honest and do something he hadn't done. And I was terrified of my own issues that were turning up in these stories I'm writing.
Okay, so look, let me ask you
Hmm.
a question because I think I spotted something. You say we're working on these stories. No, you work on one story
Right.
until it's finished, send it out, then work on your next one.
Okay.
That
What?
that you're not the person who can work on multiple stories at a time. Not
Okay.
yet.
Okay. Well, one of the things first it was a step of progress to identify that the reason I was stuck on, and I was working on multiple stories because I have found it useful if I hit a wall on one, switch projects and move to a different project and make a baby step
Well,
forward on that one.
only if you look back over the last 6 months and realize that you got six stories in the mail.
Right,
If
right.
not, then it's
Well,
basically just a well justified avoidance.
well, and what happened to me was I realized that because there's only two stories I care about right now, and I know that they're the ones I can finish. Um, that those emotional issues were stopping me, and I was finding those stupid excuses to not just tell the story. Don't worry about it being perfect or whatever. Just tell the story and get that draft done, because then you can polish it. And that was the obstacle. And then life happened, and the pastor of the church got hospitalized and then sent home on hospice. And it's been taking 2 to 3 hours of my day every day visiting her and helping her in her end of life issues. A 90-year-old friend of mine fell and broke her back. So now I'm visiting her every day as well and helping that family. And Minneapolis is my hometown. I was born there, I grew up there.
Ah,
And everything that's been happening in Minnesota for the last 2 weeks, I've had to really lean on my morning ritual and my activity and exercise and everything to even stay remotely sane in what's
Heartbreaking.
happening in my hometown.
Sure.
Unbelievable. Yes.
And showing up daily on a daily basis to do what I can. It's it's remarkable to me that I'm succeeding at taking care of my home and the businesses here. I am actually visiting these people and helping them in a very difficult situation. People are calling me upset about Minnesota because they think talking and interacting with me will help ground them and keep them sane. So
Well,
I
Mm.
have
if
to
you,
be on my A game,
that's right.
and I'm not
That's
in a
right.
situation where I don't want to beat myself up for not making more progress on the story that I'm
So,
telling. But
so what you have to do there is focus down on which story. If you can't decide, flip a coin.
right.
If because this is going to be an exercise for you. You're not just writing a story, you are learning how to focus on one thing at a time.
Thank you.
Okay? And you get behind the one that is the most emotionally impactful. The one
Oh,
or
I know. I got it. I know
whichever
which.
one is the more fun. There's nothing
Right.
wrong with fun when you are dealing with death. Sometimes you need fantasy. You need to have
Yeah.
fun. And if you make it sufficiently fantastic, then you don't have to worry about the fact that you had
Right.
personal details because nobody will figure out that that cricket was your next door neighbor. You know,
Right.
so
Uh,
the thing you said about people needing to lean on you, that's so critical. I just yesterday or just very recently had a conversation with a dear friend who is concerned about their mother going off the deep end. And what can I do for mother? And this person has a very difficult time understanding that what they can do for their mother is get their own act together.
right.
That what is happening is when they see their mother, you have two sets of confusion bumping into each other. What the mother is looking for is there any clarity out there? Mother is in free fall.
Mm,
The child has to become the parent and be clear at this point. The roles have reversed in that sense. So for you, your morning ritual needs to be setting yourself up to be unflappable.
yeah.
That people say there is no hope. There's this. There's that. That because you have already dealt with those fears within yourself, you can offer them an informed opinion. Maybe you use the kind of techniques that we've been giving you here. Maybe
Right.
you use something else. All that matters is that you help your tribe.
Well, and
You
it helped me immensely just listening to the opening today
great.
and getting the reminder just right now. Pick the story that might be the most fun. That's part of that dancing at night thing.
Yes,
And
it
that
is.
I love to tell stories. I'm good at telling stories, and instead of approaching my sentence a day like it's not a burden to write a sentence a day. It's my joy and happy sweet spot, and
Exactly.
so that helps in all those other arenas.
That's right. Also, be sure that you're getting your physical work in.
Right? Oh yeah,
Under stress, people tend to start ignoring their bodies. Their bodies are
yeah.
literally where they store the stress that they're not ready to process. Exercise allows you to process that stress before it can kill you.
That is part of the reason why the 100 Days of January is so funny to me, because I can't help but have to shovel snow, and I don't want to be an old man who dies shoveling snow.
Oh
So my
no.
Yeah, so
physical
so
things
That's
have to
real.
be on its A
that's right.
game.
It's
And
real.
Yeah.
Absolutely
I saw
real.
my cardiologist this week, and my heart's in perfect condition. And we've discussed things. And what we have there in the Warrior Walk will work for you, even if you don't have other time. If you'll
Yeah,
do just that much, then you're taking care of a bunch of different things. I'm going to
yeah.
move on to the next person, but thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing,
So
Jaime.
good. Thank you for sharing, Jaime.
All right, Larry,
Larry, we haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back.
where's Larry?
Where did Larry go?
Where did
Oops.
Larry go?
Thank you. I'm right
Oh,
here. I'm
oh,
right
there's
here,
Okay,
Bruce.
Larry. Okay, here we go. Add
Took me
all
a
spotlight.
minute
right,
to remember what buttons to hit.
okay,
So I a little update, and then I guess I need some help from the hive mind, and you can
okay.
message me if you like. it's hard to talk about this.
Mm,
As you know, my mom has cancer, and there's it's terminal, but they don't know how long because there's no real, you know,
Right.
with this kind of cancer, there's not. It could be a year, it could be five, it
mm,
could. They don't know. They don't know. I'm still jobless.
mm,
It's been really hard this week, especially because I've gotten so many rejections. And it's like, so it's not for like lack of effort.
Well, let me ask you a question here.
Um,
Um, what arena are you trying to find a job in?
at this point, I'm just trying to find a survival job so that I can get my intern number and everything paid for.
Uh, survival
Um,
job is so you're applying at McDonald's? I mean,
well,
are
yeah,
you driving an
basically.
Uber? I mean, I don't understand. What kind of jobs
I,
are you trying to get?
I, okay, so I don't know if you remember me saying, but I have a disability. I can't drive, so like, I wish Uber and
No,
DoorDash are
but once
things.
again, is you need clarity, and when we speak, that's something that you struggle with.
Yeah,
So, if we say, "How's your morning ritual?" then what would your answer be?
it was going better, and it sucks right now.
Okay,
mm.
so how do you cheat yourself?
I haven't been getting enough sleep. Let's start there.
Mm.
See, but the morning ritual isn't about how much sleep you're getting. What you're
Well,
saying is that you wake up and you feel an emergency, so you can't take time for yourself?
no, I'm saying that because I didn't get enough sleep, I wake up and I feel like shit, and then I
But the morning ritual is about how you get yourself out of feeling like shit. So what you're saying is that you wake up in the morning, and unless you're feeling good, you can't do your ritual. Is that what you're saying?
maybe, maybe
Okay.
that is what I'm saying.
So I would say that if you want this group to be able to support you, and I would love for us to be able to do that, you need to get a hold of that first 5 minutes. Because if you can get a hold of your first 5 minutes, then we can help you get a hold of the rest of your day and also to control your life. It, put all of your willpower behind controlling the first 5 minutes. That means the breathing, heartbeat, visualizing what you're going to do, and taking a physical action. 5 minutes. Now, what you want to look at is how do you talk yourself out of that? Because the way you talk yourself out of taking that 5 minutes is the same way you have cheated yourself out of everything else you've ever cheated yourself out of. So reducing it to that small a component allows you to flip over the flat rock. It's not difficult. It's not externally difficult. It
Right.
doesn't require resources that you don't have. It has nothing to do with other people cooperating with you. It's about you. And that can be frightening because as soon as you say, well, it's me, then unless you love yourself, you might well fall into the it's me, I couldn't do it, so I'm not worthy. So the ego using your lack of performance to trick you into not doing the things you need to do because the ego feels if I do this, I'm going to change. If I do this, the ego dies. So I need you to focus right there. First 5 minutes. Get your hands on a copy of Warrior Walk. If you can't afford it, get in touch and we will give you a copy, removing any possible excuse. If you want us to help you, you
I would,
have to take the first step. And nobody can do that for you. You have to figure out how can I get 5 minutes? How can I do that? What do I have to do to get 5 minutes out of my 24 hours? So you contact us off this thing. I have my email address, Stephen at diamondhour.com.
yeah,
You can
I have
reach
it.
me on Facebook. Talk to me about it. Get your hands on the Warrior Walk and allow us to help you get that 5 minutes. I promise if you can do that, thing about the job and dealing with your mom, everything else comes out of the question, who are you? Who are you? Who do you need to be? What part of yourself do you need to induce, to bring out in order to help your mom die at peace and in order to get the job that you want? There is a version of you that can do this. There's a version of you that can do this absolutely perfectly. You need to find that part and get behind that. Okay?
Yeah.
Until you're taking those initial steps, the rest of it doesn't matter in terms of me being able to reach through the computer screen and help you. Okay?
Yep.
All right.
And
So
that'll
get
make you the best person you can be, Larry. So when you're applying for those jobs, maybe your luck will change.
and if
Yeah.
money is that big thing, I think I mentioned to you, have you either watched the video or read Think and Grow Rich?
I have been watching the videos, not this
When
week.
you say you have been watching it, does that mean you watched the entire video?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me three things that you learned from that video.
This is not a quiz.
I remember going back to the survival drive in that.
That's not
No, I'm getting confused.
yeah.
I think I'm,
Okay, what you do, I'll write it into chat. But you write this down. If you got paper,
yeah, right
write
here.
down Think and Grow Rich.
I think I'm getting confused with another.
Yeah, probably. Write down Think and Grow, because you're saying that money is the problem. The
It
Think and Grow
is.
Rich is the best book ever written about money, as far as I'm concerned. Write down Think and Grow Rich and the name Earl Nightingale. Go to YouTube and put those into the search function, and
All
you will
right.
find a 40-minute condensation of that book. If
All right.
money is your issue, you need to understand how people make money. How is it that people make money? How do they organize themselves psychologically and in terms of energy to make money? I got to go. Let me try to get Nalina in here real quick. I see you, Maurice, but Nalina's going to have to leave quickly. So, Nalina, is there something we can help you with, sweetheart?
No, I just want to say congratulations to Tanana Reed on being a USA Today bestselling author.
Oh, thank you. That's right. I've been so busy with my deadlines. I have not even been publicizing that enough, but very
Yeah.
excited. Yes.
I sent a flyer to Steve. It's also on my page. People are congratulating you on my page in the Black Girls Do Read group. Everybody in the
Oh,
Literary Cafe, Tribe Called Success Literary Cafe, they're congratulating you all over. Yes, I was like, how did we? I thought your publisher would have been keeping up with that, but it was the numbers for you. So congratulations on that. And you're number one in all the categories right now, in Kindle, audio, hardcover, paperback. I've never seen that.
For like Black
Rich,
horror.
yes, African, yeah,
That's
Black horror.
You
great.
Uh,
guys,
That's great.
you guys
That's
need to
great.
have a conversation about this offline.
No, we
Nalina,
will. We're going to talk
put
about
your
my next
contact
book too.
information in chat. What I want to say to everyone is that if you're interested in publishing books, Nalina is the real thing. She is sincere, she is brilliant, and if you guys connect and she says she can help you, she means it. Okay, she's
Indeed,
not a joke. All right,
indeed.
take
I'm
care,
on my way
sweetheart.
off to Hawaii.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Oh,
Have a good
well,
Thank
time.
you,
aloha.
thank you. Aloha.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Bye
bye bye,
now.
sweetheart. All right, Mo. I thought that we were done with you, but it seems like you've got a little Mo to offer.
Boom, boom.
ugh, forgive me, Sensei. As you can see, I try to emulate you at every point. I have grown
Okay.
gray beard like you.
Excellent. So you emulate me. Tell me about your morning ritual.
My morning ritual is stopping and realizing I can't do it all at one time.
Okay.
Eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Okay. So,
So,
and that
good.
is good. I need you to start with your breathing, gratitude for life and love and hope. Think through the steps of the magic formula. You don't have to get detailed with it. Just map or model action, gratitude, intention, child alignment. Think that through. Write down the three things you're going to do today, and do one sun salutation or other form of ground engagement. But sun salutations are perfect. Doesn't take very long. But so basically, what you did was you got 1 point today, but that is infinitely better than zero.
Exactly.
1 point puts your feet on the path. I can actually work with that. I can leverage with that. So your next step is to get up, is to start keeping track right on your calendar. I got 1 point. I got 2 points. What stops you from investing 5 minutes when the life of your family is at stake? This is serious. Couldn't be more
Yes.
serious. So that's the first thing. So what was your question today? What's going on?
Well, the second thing is along that line where I can't lean not on that on understanding a system scripture. So like I have notepads, I take care of Marine, he's giving me all these things and I'm taking this stuff, but I wanted to just give some victory information to Fire Dance and everything. The first of which is that my son Victor, because of everything I've done to help him, is now in a program out of jail, but within a program to help him mental and everything else. And that was such a great thing that happened. The second thing is that I'm limited. I can only say that I'm back in national journalism again with a national platform. Well, it has a national voice, and I'm writing a specific article. I can't speak about it, but I'm getting paid at 15 cents a word,
Excellent.
and I'm waiting for
Excellent.
my $137.50.
Well, wait a minute.
That's supposed to come
It
in.
could very well be that you could use this to leverage yourself into additional journalistic opportunities. Tananarive, let me bring you in here. But when the door is open, that one of the secrets is go through the door that's open if that door would move you closer to your goal.
Well,
It's a
first,
big win. It's a
first of all, I want to
huge
say
win.
congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. Oops.
That's
And
right.
is this an editor you can continue a relationship with?
Yes. Now, here's the funny thing about it. Now, I'll send you something offline about it. But the crazy thing about it here within Atlanta, it's reached national proportions for the person I'm working with. But when I introduced him to the scene, he was sneaky and everything else, and he wound up being the president of the magazine that I was working with when I left to go to the Israeli consulate and everything else. But now he needs my help, and a different slant
So
on
I
things.
would say that you see how that stochastic marketing thing, that magic
Hmm.
thing. So you talked a lot about writing fiction, and you
Yes.
clearly have the imagination for it. But there are completion issues that we can both see. We've talked about that. But when you're working on the journalistic stuff, it seems that those issues don't come up in the same way. So therefore, you could use the journalism to both support you and to help you develop the momentum that you can use with your fiction.
Well, I
This is a
just
real
needed.
opportunity, Maurice. This you could turn this into a major win for you by getting his help in being successful there and then spreading that success to other things, looking for other places that you can sell those same skills. And just
Now,
so
Mhm.
increasing your skills and increasing your skills at marketing. Go ahead.
Now here's the other thing that goes up to the one sentence a day. 30 years ago, I worked with Outcasts, and I was
Hmm.
on the road with them for well over a month, travel
Wow.
coast to coast. Okay. And so this year, it's 30 years since the AT Aliens album came out. One of the branding people challenged me to finish by Sunday, 30 for 30. 30 things I remember. She's going to help me create my avatar, and 30 things along the road with Outcast. And I said, this goes right into what I was doing with Fire Dance. So that's one thing. The other last thing with the fiction
Are they going to
aspect.
pay you for that?
Oh, I hope she's gonna pitch it and maybe I'll get paid for it. But
Who would be
she's
paying you?
helping me brand it. with my
Who would be paying
TikTok
you
page.
for it?
Say again.
Who would be paying you?
Well, that's just it. She is such an influencer and stuff, and I'll say her name. She wouldn't have an issue
No, no,
with it.
no, 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 no.
No, don't
So
say that. I'll tell her later.
would okay?
Anyway, she
What you
can.
need is to get out of the story about it and answer the
Mhm.
question directly. Who would be paying you? Now, if the answer is I don't know, that's a perfectly good answer. If the answer is I might get paid the same way she gets paid, that's an answer which you could look at that. But in the situation you're in, learning how to use your energy and creativity to make money is a totally worthwhile thing to do. Okay. I mean, it's like that. That's a wonderful opportunity. So if she is going to say we're going to put this on a website, now your question
Mhm.
is how do you monetize that? How do you make money out of that? Now there's going to be an answer. You might not be able to do it this time. Maybe all you're doing
Maybe
is
it's exposure this time, but
exposure.
That is
Maybe you're going to gather
mhm.
people's email addresses, but be careful of exposure when you don't know what product you're selling.
Well,
mm,
one of the things is, like I said, with the national article I'm working on, and then the other one with AT aliens, because when I do the national article, when it comes out, because the person has a huge YouTube presence, but the fact that Mo Barnes is writing again, written for 10 years, it's sweat equity branding to say that I'm ready to write
Okay,
again.
I can see that. If you as long as you can see clearly how this action takes you closer to where the money is.
Exactly.
That's of critical importance for you because if you can do that and you can master your morning ritual, that first 5 minutes, then when your kids come to you and talk about how they're confused about this, they don't know how to do this, they're dealing with fear here, you will have a specific suggestion for them, a specific recommendation. You are looking for the thing you can do in your own life that you can pass on to your children. That by raising yourself to the next level of efficiency, you then have defined a path, not the only path, but a path where you can say, do this. And then you can check back in with them, and what you'll find out is they didn't do it. So then you can talk about why they didn't do it, what's going on. And that conversation can be one of the most valuable you can ever have. If you can tell them you're struggling with the same thing and this is how you dealt with it. If you can say, at this point, I could not get myself to do this ritual, and then I went through these steps, and it turned out, and I got myself to do it. You say 100 different things, maybe one or two of them will actually land, and they'll say, "Oh, I can't do that, but I could do this." But it's going to require your consistency. They're watching. Are you swimming towards the shore? Are you sure? Because right now they're in confusion. They need their dad to be clear on what the path to adulthood is. The path
Mhm.
to be in the adult world, nothing works like money. You need
Oh,
money. And you need to say to yourself, and once again, same thing is true about Think and Grow Rich. So you went over the video Think and Grow Rich?
oh yes. Now, please don't
So,
quiz me.
so tell
Right,
me,
but
tell me
yes.
three things that you got from it.
oh, he's testing.
Oh no, don't test me, man. I've been through too much today to go to that because I've gone beyond that
No, no, no,
to
no, no, no.
no.
Let
Excuse
if
me.
you want me
I
to
can't.
coach
All
you,
right, stop.
then
It's
you have.
focusing.
It's like
What?
going to the doctor saying I have a problem. The
Mhm.
doctor is looking at your bleeding, broken leg, but you don't want to talk about that. You want to talk about your headache. No, I don't play
I
that.
wasn't prepared.
Yeah,
I'm not
though you don't
prepared.
have to be prepared. Tell me right now. Think. What do you know? Because it's the things that you know that you can call on that you can use. Otherwise, it just went in one ear and out the other. It's like you read it because Steve asked you to, but you didn't actually go into it. So tell me one thing that you remember from it.
Focusing, focusing,
Yes.
focusing.
Good. Good.
Period.
Now go back and either read it or listen to that video again when you need to be able to think, I need to have because what I remember immediately about it is I need to have a specific intent that I'm enthusiastic about. and I need to make commitment toward it. I need to get specialized knowledge. I need to brainstorm with other people about how to solve the problems they're in. I need to learn how to access my creativity and my intuition. I need to do this. I need to do this. And so that anytime I have a goal, I start automatically going through that. Do I really want this? Am I really committed to it? Can I see what the steps are going to be? Who do I know that has done it? That's the way I think all the time. Wake me up in the morning, first thing in the morning, and I can tell you that. Last thing at night, I can tell you that. I need you to get that clear on enough of the basics, the first 5, 6, 7 steps. And if you have to write them down every day until you remember that, you will find your life changing. Money is an issue for you. It's a major issue for you. So you need to learn. And the thing is, you're a very creative person. So I know that properly focused, you could take that creativity and turn it into cash. I know it. I don't have any doubt about it at all. But
I don't
will you
either.
do? Will you do it? Will you do what it takes?
Yes,
All
Sifu,
right.
I'm doing it. And you've beat me with your metaphysical bamboo cane, and I accept these wounds. But I wanted to, you mentioned about the hero's journey, and when I was writing Vibrations, I'm not going to go into it. You told me not to share certain things. But then I realized I was writing the story, and you said it screams for a protagonist. And then I remembered Soul Bones, and Carl is the protagonist, and I had to write it out more to look at it. And I realized that as a writer, I was doing my hero's journey thinking, oh, it's what I'm trying to do, but I forgot the character. I
Right.
forgot Carl, the protagonist, that he is the protagonist. He's going on the hero's journey too within the short stories. And two, he told me to read more short stories, and I have listened. And I went back to real basics. Like I said to you, I went back to Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the Sherlock Holmes stuff, H.P. Lovecraft, those things, looking at how they set that up, how Sherlock's deductive reasoning was there. And I realized that I wrote it down as a Rubicon of writing. Oh, excuse me. The Rubicon of writing, when you're going to cross over the Rubicon, Veni Vidi Vici, I came and saw I conquered, or as the girls in my Latin class in a black school, we only had a few young girls were honors class and everything else, but they did, instead of Veni Vidi Vici, I came and saw I conquered. They changed it to I saw I conquered, I came. And if you could only give it to the group, that's when you knew it. So I see that. And that's one thing I wanted to say about that, that I had to look at Carl Headstone as the protagonist on his hero's journey, realize, Mo, you got a short story. You have like the Night Stalker story here in Atlanta. The other thing I wanted to say, because I'm not trying to keep this up, is mission creep in life, saying to Jaime, be careful of mission creep in life. And even what you shared about your own recovery, Steve, when you're in a coma, that you refuse to become, when, because of my ex-wife and her disability and stuff, the tyrant of the bed, the tyrant of the bed. You feel sorry for me, do this, do that, and then you in caretaker mode, going crazy, doing everything you can. And it's like, because I have to, or what have you. But just like keep her, is as what I said. And that's all I wanted to say. Oh, the last thing I want to say, this time, for Jaime especially, and for all of us, we are wordsmiths. You have swordsmiths and war and everything else. Our weapon is our words. We are wordsmiths, and we need to use our weapons wisely. That's all I want to say. I ain't gonna say nothing
Amen.
else.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
very
that,
much, Mo.
Maurice. Very
Thank you
well
very
put.
much. Okay, so let me just remove all the spotlights and see, does anybody else have a hand to go up? Anybody have a comment, question, or request about anything that we've covered here? Robin Burchett.
Hi there. Uh, I've been just for this last month, I've been really focusing on having a morning ritual and an evening
Excellent.
ritual. And I found one way that I would sort of trick myself is instead of writing down one thing, I'd write down five and I'd do the four easy ones and not the important one. So I'm like, I
Interesting.
don't just make it simpler, simpler. What is the smallest thing that really matters
Yeah,
today?
that the hard one, maybe the hard one needs to be broken down into smaller pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have defined the size of your throat. You simply cannot swallow something larger than that. So you take that big thing and break it up into three smaller things. The first is to simply more clearly define what needs to be done. The second one might be more clearly defining the benefit that you're going to get from doing it. The third one might be defining some resources that you can access to help you, which might include just somebody to sit down and talk with it about. Your unconscious mind is telling you that this thing is important. If you learn how to handle that thing, you gain the strength you need to complete the larger task. That the obstacle in your path is the exact weight you have to lift to get the muscle necessary to accomplish your long-term goal. So it's like, here's the barbell. How many bars? You might have to take some plates off to be able to lift it. That's okay. Trust yourself. Or maybe you have to make multiple trips, to carrying the weight plates back to where they belong. Whatever metaphor that you use, it's always possible to break things down into smaller chunks, even if it's, let me focus my morning ritual on being the kind of person who can do this thing. What is the difference between who I am and who I would need to be to do this thing? Let me become that person. Because to a huge degree, the results you get are going to be based on, are you that guy? Are you that guy? That if you're not the guy who can do it, don't think that it's not possible for you to do it. Become that guy. It's like decide, the Stoics, which I love, decide what kind of person you are going to be, and then be that person. So who is the person? And you will find this, that maybe it's a matter, I don't have enough motivation. But if somebody told you they would kill your wife if you didn't do this today, you'd do it and there'd be no problem. Because suddenly the why becomes larger than your why not. So however size your why not is, either break the task down into pieces or increase your motivation or find another way to get there. Sometimes you can go around the barrier, but just don't stop. Does that help at all?
Yes, thank you.
Great. All right.
You wanted to wrap up
Yes.
today.
I
So,
wanted, as long as there weren't people who needed something here, then I wanted to wrap up because I've got a couple friends coming over to do some Filipino martial arts. And so we need to have a business meeting before that. And I just wanted to say it's been great being here. I I'm scared, and the fear is good. And I'm scared of the fact that if this is my last remaining life goal, and suddenly the door is open, then I don't have anybody to blame but me. Suddenly, it's not the world. It's not those guys out there. It's not the other. It's none of those things. It's, who are you, Steve? Are you really that bitch? Are you really the person you said you are? I uh, I have to have faith that I am, and if life shows me that it was not that time, that's okay. Life may beat me, but I will never beat myself. Tananarive, what are your final thoughts here?
I have to say, maybe I'm crazy, but I don't feel scared. I feel excited. I mean, I'm scared about things that are outside of my control, and with the political environment and the rise of fascism and all those kinds of things. But in terms of our personal goals, I say bring it. We are well armed with that short film, which I saw on the biggest screen I've seen it on yet, and I know I'm biased, but I think it's pretty darn good. So I think it's a good calling card for what we need. And with the Warrior Walk and some dietary changes I've made this year, cutting out sugar, eating better, I am absolutely ready. I'm saying bring it. I'm Liam Neeson at the end of The Gray. I'm like, bring it. Hopefully not getting mauled by wolves, as I assume happened after that last shot, but just ready to face the wolves. I'm not scared of no damn wolves. These are the same wolves that have been after me and my family for generations. I'm not scared of the wolves. I'm just going to do the work. I'm going to keep dancing and I'm going to keep my joy.
All right, take care, and let's everybody unmute yourselves and say goodbye. This is a family. This is a place where we can
Bye.
come and share our fears and
Bye.
our hopes and
Thank you,
dreams.
There's a
everyone.
sweet,
All
sweet
Goodbye,
right.
spirit
everyone.
Love you all.
Take
Happy
care.
in
week.
this
Happy week.
place.
And you all,
Peace
good
Okay.
luck
out.
the
Everybody.
weekend.
Sweet
And may the
spirit in this
road
Bye
place.
bye, everybody.
rise to meet you. Bye bye.